Hello Spring! So for the last part of the SpringBoard basic tutorial, we're going to cover metaprogramming. We're going to use Gravitas again, and we're going to create a simple scenario using metaprogramming. So what is metaprogramming? Metaprogramming is a way of extending the existing functionalities, the events, conditions and actions by using game-specific concepts and game-specific mechanics. This allows us to expose the game concepts to the graphical user and editing system. Alright, so how does this work? Let's open Spring as we did in the previous video. So we're going to select Gravitas and let's select red combi. That should probably work better with the contrast. Alright, so here it is. And let's create a new scenario. In this case we're going to have this Gravit unit, which is going to be controlled by us later on. And then we're going to add some other elements. So let's, for example, add a plate like this. Then we can add a crate. And then we can add a gate, like something like this. Okay. Now we can also add some walls and so on. Let's do it just for the aesthetics, but it's not that much important. So something like this. So let's say that we're creating a level and that we want to, for example, open this gate and go on and offer some other challenges later on. So normally you would be able to control this unit and push the crate to the plate on top of it, and once the pressure plate is pushed, the gate should open. Right. So let's see what happens if we actually test it. Now the game is not at super controls, but that's what works. Nothing is happening, right? So the crate is on top of it, but nothing is going on. The reason for that is that we need to actually set up some triggers first that are going to initialize this whole system. So the first thing is we're going to now create a new trigger, game started trigger, which we haven't created so far. So this is going to run at the beginning of the game each time. And then we're going to call some Gravitas specific triggers. So we want to actually connect this plate to this gate, right? So to do this we can use this Gravitas tab, right? It's a new specific tab. The first thing we need to do is invoke something called enable link checks. This is going to actually use these links that we're going to make afterwards. The next thing is we're going to go again to the Gravitas and we're going to link this plate to this gate, because if you have a lot of plates and gates, there's no way to know which one is going to be linked unless you specify it. So we need to actually say, okay, so if this plate is pressed, this gate is supposed to open. So we're going to first select the plate, this is the plate, and then we're going to select the gate. We're going to click OK, and this is our trigger. So let's see if that actually works now. Alright, we're going to move the crate again, something like this, right? And it opened. Took a bit of effort, but it opened. So how did this actually work? How does this scenario editor now know about plates and gates and so on? These are Gravitas specific things that each game has. So the answer is in these metaprogramming files. So I've now opened the SpringBoard Gravitas repository, and it has this triggers folder, and it has this Gravitas _triggers.lua file, which specifies all this custom functionality. So in this case we use the custom action. So here you see actions. Use the custom action type called enable link checks, and we also used link plate to gate function. So both of them are going to invoke something that we have in Gravitas, or some specific function that was implemented in Gravitas that's going to use customize game mechanics as it does. This one is pretty simple. So it specifies the name that's going to be displayed in the editor. So enable link checks. We have some sort of machine readable name, and we have a tag. So this tag defines where in the editor is going to pop up, like Gravitas, for example. The execute function is going to actually run some Lua code and do some computation. So in this case, it's going to invoke this function when it fires. Okay, so let's see the link plate to gate. This is a bit more complicated action. It's a bit more complicated because you have parameters now. You have a plate and you have a gate. You can specify any number of parameters. In this case we have 2, both are units. So we have a strong typing system here. This means that the user cannot, for example, write 17 or something random, hello world or something like that. That will not work. That the editor will not accept invalid input, which is good because it makes it easier for the user to do editing. The other thing is everything is also named, so in the code you will be able to refer to those names easily. So in this case we're gonna use the 2 inputs and pass them to this method which is going to link them. So let's get back to the editor for a second. Let's see again how these 2 actions look like. So this is a simple one, and yeah, if you look at it again, you have 2 units here, and they're units because you can also select them like this and so on. Alright, so this is the first thing. Now let's for example print out something once this gate opens. So a gate opening is again Gravitas specific thing, and this is something that doesn't really exist in Spring as a concept, like a gate opening and so on. So we're going to create a new trigger. Let's say gate is opened, and then we're going to add a new event. In this case we're going to use the gate opened event. This is a Gravitas specific thing that it's going to tell us the unit, the gate that was opened. Okay, and then we can, for example, print the gate was opened. There you go. Very simple trigger. Let's give it one more try to see if it actually works. So we're going to hopefully open it now. Yeah, and we can see the gate has opened. It's printed here. And now how does this work? Well, again, in the meta programming file we have this events field, events table, which has these 2 events declared. Now events are a bit different because we can't really put execute here. We need to invoke this from some part of code because this is what starts the trigger. So this actually needs to be also invoked from somewhere, but we know the definition here. We know that it produces a unit in both cases. We know what the name is and so on. So now the editor knows enough information to be able to display it and to then use the information like this in lower parts of the code. So let's see how we can invoke this thing. For this I'm going to open Gravitas itself. So this is the original game. Inside we have the game mechanics in Lua rules, and inside unit plate we have the plate game mechanics specified. So the interesting part is this, the set unit state. This will essentially, this block of code will essentially be opening and closing gates. So if you have your own custom mechanics like this, you can link it to SpringBoard by invoking it in one line like this. So this is all you need to actually say, okay, a gate is open and these are the parameters. That's it. And the gate is closed and these are the parameters. So basically this will invoke the event, and then, you know, if the conditions are satisfied, we're gonna see it fire. That's it. And this can also be invoked in Lua UI, but you need to replace this with VG. SpringBoard will do the job of synchronizing it and putting it into a synced state, but you don't have to worry about that. So essentially this is the part that you're interested in, the execute event. And this is how you can actually have then custom event like this. And you can add any number of them and so on. So this is the metaprogramming at a glance. It can get much more complicated. There are more complex things like custom data types in higher order functions, but they're not necessary to start working with something like this. Even these kind of custom coding is not necessarily important if you're using a well-established game, but if you're using a new game that you've written or something like that, you might want to have it. Okay, this is it for the initial SpringBoard videos. Thank you.